All right, everyone, welcome to the X-foils. I am your host again, Dylan. Episode, I'm going to mess this up. It's probably 5. We're going to go with 5. And I'm sitting here with Sean, and I'm going to butcher his last name. So you're going to have to introduce yourself.
You didn't know that already?
Yeah.
Reyngoudt.
Reyngoudt, right.
Like the river and the disease.
Youch. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I was looking around to see who could be on the show, and I've got a decent list, but you were like high up on there, and I wanted to get you in here because you rip. So yeah, you do all the disciplines. You're not downwinding yet, and we'll have to dig into why. But I kind of know why, because when the wing foiling started, you were kind of like apprehensive about it. I remember you were working with us at Kite Puerto Rico because you're a great coach, and it took you a while to kind of get into winging, and because of all the equipment and an added sport, an added expense, added time, right? It all kind of adds up in the end. So there's got to be some kind of a focus of where you want to spend your energy, and I mean, you've only got one good leg, you've got half of another, which is a huge part of your story. And I can't remember if you started water sports after you lost your leg or before.
No, I started before. I was actually wakeboarding before.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first sport. And then trying to surf a little bit behind a boat before losing my leg. And then once I lost my leg, pretty much the doors open from there.
Yeah.
Losing my leg at 19 to a forklift accident, is a major struggle and, a hill that you have to get over. And the hardest thing was pretty much figuring out how to keep my leg on in the water.
Yeah.
Going from there. And once I figured that out, I was just go from there,
How long did it take you to get back in the water? I mean, I don't know how that is. I mean, emotionally, there's a lot of things that you go through.
Yeah, no, emotionally it's fine. It's all,
did you take it hard or?
No, I mean, there was days, yes, for sure. I was definitely depressed and felt like the world was ending. I was 19 years old, lost my leg, and didn't know what obstacles I had in front of me. But I knew with the support that I had from my family and my friends and even my coworker and everybody else, anything was possible. You just got to put your mind to it and see that you can do it, Tell yourself that you can, and if you tell yourself you can't, you're not going to do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
So basically just finding the right prosthetic was the hardest thing. Obviously I had to go through healing on my good foot. I had a major injury on the sound foot that I have on my right foot. They had to do a skin graft, so I had to wait a couple months before I can get in the water. And then once I was able to just go in the water, I started spearfishing right away. I had a fin, and I'd crutch myself to the boat and go out and spearfish, and started from there.
And you were living in Florida at this point?
Yeah, I grew up in the Florida Keys. I was born in Switzerland, but I grew up in the Florida Keys, and been a waterman my whole life, pretty much diving, fishing, and now being in the water, playing with the wind and the waves.
Parents were American?
My mom was Swiss, and my dad was from New Jersey.
Okay, and then you quickly moved to the States?
Pretty much, they met in Mexico. My dad was back sailing around by himself, and my mom was backpacking with her girlfriend. And, a little dabble do you?
the dance with no pants?
Yeah.
and Sean was born.
Then it popped up, here I am.
Yeah.
But my dad, being a waterman, he was always working on oil rigs and being in the water spearfishing. They wanted to live close to the ocean, so they found a house in the Florida Keys, and it's pretty much where I grew up, on the canal.
Nice.
Summerlin Key, and it's an amazing place to grow up for kids and whatnot. And but I got kind of bored there. I wanted something different.
Yeah, I've been there. It's cool. It's beautiful. My God, the conditions, and I don't spearfish, but I imagine it can be really, really cool over there.
Yeah.
Some nice reefs, I assume.
Definitely some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
We got to take care of them, though. There's a lot of things that are problems there, But besides that, it's amazing, It's a beautiful place.
And I know that you started kiting really early, in the early days. You're like an OG.
Yeah,
right?
I started kiting pretty much right after I lost my leg in 2004.
Mm-hmm. That's really early.
Two-line kites, and I started learning, and then I had the addiction, and I just wanted to go and go and go, and pretty much started doing downwinders from Bay of Hana to Key West. That's about a 50-mile downwinder.
Damn.
And then, yeah, and I started training, and I heard about the first 60-mile downwinder from, Jupiter to Fort Lauderdale. And I told myself I want to do that so bad, and I ended up doing it, and I came in 24th place. My leg came off halfway. And
No way.
Yeah, and I had to go to the beach. I had this lifeguard and this surfer help me because I didn't know if I was allowed to land the kite or whatever, so I had the guy kind of help me put my leg back on and kept going and finished.
That's an epic story.
Yeah, and then the year after, they had the same race from Cocoa Beach to Vero Beach, and I ended up winning 2 hours and 18 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
On a twin tip.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my secret to it was I was staying close to the shoreline the whole time.
Yeah.
So you can you don't have to jump over the waves, and you can just stay in that flat water.
Yeah.
Lifeguards didn't like it, though.
No, I assume not, but you're too fast. Are they going to catch you or what?
No.
No. Were you a good wakeboarder?
I was pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, I got into riding the cable because it imitated being on the kite a lot. So I like going to the Ski Rixon and pretty much all the cable parks throughout Florida. And fortunately, I've had the opportunity to go to a couple internationally as well. Been to the cable park in Turkey, a couple in Holland, France, and Texas too as well. So been lucky to get to a lot of the parks.
And that was before or after?
No, all of that is after.
After,
Yeah.
okay.
Pretty much, I was a intermediate wakeboarder before I lost my leg. I only knew how to do a back roll and 360, and then after that, I started learning how to do the railies and S-bends and back mobs and all that.
And I assume, like all of my guests, you learned how to kite on your own without instruction, or did you have instruction?
Actually, was drinking beers at the beach one day with my buddy, and it was right after I lost my leg and pretty much getting back in the water wakeboarding, and I was like, give me this thing, I'm going to go. And literally got up and rode probably about 100 feet, crashed a kite, and couldn't get it back up, and I was like, I'm hooked. I went and bought 4 kites.
No way.
My friend had 4 kites for sale. I'm like, I'm buying all of them, buying a board, let's go. Like,
nice.
And just kept going every day and kept going to the beach. And I had a couple friends who were into it at the time that gave me pointers and whatnot. But I think at that time I was really watching a lot of videos on YouTube, and it helped a lot.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, it wasn't super popular to get instruction anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially at your age and you're
where I was,
ambitious.
my location too.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't many. There was only one kiteboarding school in Key West, I think, a couple years after I learned.
Do you remember the name of that school?
I think it's Key West Kiteboarding.
So I remember that you had some sponsors back in the day, kiting wise, a little bit, or
Yeah, I had Full Throttle Energy drinks, and then Best Kiteboarding and Slingshot.
yeah, I saw a picture of you in a magazine with Slingshot. I think you posted something on your Instagram recently about that, right?
Yeah.
And did you travel with them? You did photo shoots?
Pretty much, I was traveling a lot on my my prosthetic sponsor that I had at the time, Freedom Innovations. They were pretty much paying me to travel around the world. It was pretty cool.
That's nice.
To go to a lot of different trade shows and help promote their product, because I break a lot of them. And pretty much I just brought all the
you
other
got to be a good tester, right?
Yeah.
Was that the point, or?
Yeah, well, my point is to break as many as I can possible, you know.
Do you still have a sponsor for a prosthetic?
No, I don't really.
Well, if somebody's listening to this, give this guy a leg. Yeah. Come on.
They don't like me. I break too many of them.
Well, I think they should be making better legs then.
Yeah, there's lots of things that they can do, but hopefully they can help.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I can't recollect the time that we met or how it was, but
I met you in Goodwin's I think your first couple of times here, your first trip here. I seen you kiting with your wife, and
that must have been like the second day I landed in Puerto Rico. That was our first trip, like on vacation.
Yeah.
And I stopped Phil, and I'm like, hey, Phil, I want to put a school here.
He didn't like that.
I'm like, where's the best location? Where's the best wind? He was flying a kite. It was really stormy that week, I remember, and he was like, okay, he landed his kite. He's like, you got to go south. Go really far south.
Get away from me.
Get out of here. Get out of this spot. No, I have no issues with anybody. I mean, you worked with us. You've worked with Phil. You've worked at Goodwin's. When was it that you came to Puerto Rico?
Got here was 2017, I believe, right before Hurricane Maria. I was a manager at a fish market in Boca Raton. I was kind of like, you know, I owned a house. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time and didn't know what I wanted out of life, and I wasn't getting it there. And I had a great friend that moved here, Andy Herdman, and he literally got divorced with his wife and had a little apartment on the beach. He's like, come move down here, you know, it's amazing. You ride the bike to work, and we got wind and waves here all the time.
And he was working at Goodwin's at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's his apartment, the one that's right in front of the surf spot there where we go?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so epic.
Yeah, and he actually bought another place there too as well.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing here. It's definitely a beautiful place.
So I assume you didn't come here and then learn how to teach. You've been teaching beforehand.
No, not really.
No?
No, I pretty much learned how to teach here. I mean, just teach people what I've learned myself and all the things that I don't want people to do that I've been through, you know.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of close calls and, you know, learned a lot of things the hard way and, you know, just trying to teach people safety is most important. Sometimes situations can be hard to deal with that, you know. Mother Nature always wins at the end of the game, you know.
Yeah.
So it's about learning how to stay calm in certain situations. It can help out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've been teaching kiting for a long time. Now, you know, winging and foiling, and it was only kiting back in the day, right? Until this foiling came around, and yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of scenarios, and you got to try your best to, you know, try to get people in sticky situations and try to get, you know, teach them as much as you can. But there's so much that could go on. You can't teach them everything, so you got to try to make them well-rounded and be as safe as you can. And it's not. Yeah, kiteboarding's definitely not the easiest thing to teach. It's very technical, and there's a lot of steps to take, and everyone's so different, right? Being good at kiting does not mean you're a good instructor. There's totally different things, right? So I've had really good kiters and be horrible coaches. I've had horrible kiters be amazing coaches, you know? And I've had good kiters be good coaches. Right? So
You've had all the above.
Yeah, I've had all the above, but yeah, teaching is a very special skill, right? And you've been doing it for a long time, and you connect with people really well and easily. You're very calm, relaxed, and people connect with you. And I think that's the most important thing about teaching is not only the skills that you can hand off, but how you connect with somebody and how you guide them through this sport and get them stoked on it is an important part of that and being a coach. And not everybody has that. So I would definitely, I know you're not coaching now, what you just told me when you walked in, but you know, you should definitely get out there and coach every once in a while because it teaches you a lot of things, you know, and you're good at it. So it'd be a shame to lose such a good coach in this industry because they're dying off.
No,
they're not dying off, but they're not doing it anymore. It's hard to find good coaches that want to do this and live this lifestyle. I think things are changing, right, with the web, and you know, people are making money from doing podcasts and
So the hard thing is too is now I'm a father, and it's hard to find time for myself, you know. And,
no, for sure.
And if I'm out there showing everybody else how to have fun, and I don't have any time for myself, it's
there's definitely a trade-off. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Also, you know, you got to wait for the conditions.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the main thing.
Like, is it windy? Is it not? Is it wavy? Is it too wavy? Is this student gonna, you know?
Yeah, and that's the main thing with all the sports, you know, and trying to get the certain person into it at the right conditions as well.
Yeah.
I just went to a lady's house to look at a job opportunity, and basically she was one of my old students, and she was saying, I would have kept going, but the weather the first day was not good. We went when it was too rough, and I was like, you know, it's not my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, those things also teach people, and it could be the wrong conditions for the wrong person, the wrong moment, and you never know what tips somebody off. You know? So it's hard. It's very sensitive, and it's hard running a business doing that and looking at the weather every single day and scheduling based on the weather. I've been doing it forever. It's exhausting. Yeah.
And it makes it challenging for the instructor too, you know. Especially
100%.
when conditions are not ideal. So
you know, you've been surfing, which is, I think now, when I see what you do on Instagram, whatever, because all I do is watch from the web. We don't live close by anymore, so we don't hang out. But I see that you're really involved in surfing, and you have been. And I think that's kind of what you're spending most of your time on right now is surfing.
Yeah, they're trying to put a para-surfing into the Paralympics for 2028, I believe. They're having a world professional tour right now. They just had a stop in Byron Bay, Australia. The next stop is going to be in Hawaii. And then I believe they're going to have one in Japan, Costa Rica, and then California, and then the ISA World Championships again. And I believe they're going to announce if they're going to put it into the Paralympics pretty soon. So that's my main goal. I've always wanted to be an Olympic athlete. So
yeah, it's an amazing opportunity.
I'm training hard. I'm lucky I have a house pretty close to the beach, and I can surf almost every morning. The conditions are good, and I'm out there a lot.
Yeah. And you've been in some of these competitions already, right?
Yeah.
Are you representing Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I just transferred nations, actually. I was representing Switzerland because the first year they had Team USA filled up, so there wasn't an opportunity for me to get on the team. So I went with Switzerland, and then pretty much it was a challenge traveling around by myself, representing a country, going there by myself. And then I found out that there were some more competitors in Team Puerto Rico, and they offered me to come on the team, and here I am.
So that's separate from the U.S.? It's a totally separate team, Puerto Rico and the U.S.?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mostly each nation has their own, their own team. So last year, there was 35 nations at the ISA World Championships.
All right. And how many competitions have you done so far in this, like, what do you call it?
Well,
a league or its qualifications?
They changed it. It was adaptive surfing. Now it's para-surfing.
Okay.
There's different qualifications for each athlete. There's a below knee, above knee, spinal, all depending on, vision impaired, arm impaired. So most people have the opportunity with a certain disability to be able to surf. And we were trying to build a team here in Puerto Rico. We had 5 competitors at one time. Obviously, money and travel and all that, it gets hard for everybody, and other situations too as well. So not everybody can go to every event, but we're trying to build a team and get more people out there because it's a cool event, and it's super inspiring seeing some of these athletes that you wouldn't even think that you'd be able to paddle out, and they're paddling out and they're ripping on the waves. So it's pretty fascinating to see that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you rip on a surfboard.
I try.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
I've only been surfing, I would say now, for at least 10 years, give or take. Before I was a weekend warrior, and since I've moved here for the past 6 years, I've been surfing well over 100 days a year.
Yeah.
The hardest part was that I had to learn how to surf switch. Typically, most of my board sports, I'm left foot forward, and I had to learn how to surf right foot forward because it was too hard for me to get my prosthetic up in the front and have good balance and stability. So found it easier just to go the other way.
So you had to learn how to ride switch.
Yeah. And same with foiling too.
Yeah.
Foiling, I struggle going the other way.
It's hard to put weight on your front foot.
Yes and no. It's just too much weight correction and movement that I have to do, and it kind of cramps my leg up. And that's kind of the same thing with the downwinding, with the supping. My leg gets cramped when I stand on the board because I'm constantly moving it around, and my leg is such a tight fit, not tight, but a good fit, that if I'm flexing my muscles a lot, it does cramp a little bit.
I remember, it's very clear in my head that I took you one day, we went out towing out in front of Numero Uno to Waimea, and I don't know, I don't really pay attention as much where I put the foil. I'm not very specific, and I put it on my board, we put a foil on it, whatever. We went out, it was choppy, it was raining, the lessons got canceled, so we decided to take the jet ski out, and you're like, man, the foil's in the wrong position. I'm like, bro, just move your feet around, And because when you see you riding, you just don't think that there is extra complications for you because you ride so hard. And you're like, bro, it's a little bit more difficult for me. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, for sure.
I don't feel what's going on back there.
Yeah.
I don't feel my foot.
I was like, I felt a little bit stupid. But
that's why I'm not good at dancing. I always step on people's feet.
yeah, you can't tell. That's hilarious. And when did you get into foiling? Because you also foil surf, right? And you learned how to surf first, and then you transitioned to foiling. You're part of one of those early crew here in Puerto Rico when Arland and Andy, you and Roy were learning how to foil surf. But before that, you were kite foiling.
Kite foiling, yeah. That's pretty much how I learned how to get into it. I had one little session on the jet ski for maybe 5 minutes, and then it was pretty much after that on the kite all the time.
And that was here in Puerto Rico where you learned that?
Yep.
Cool. And when you're kite foiling, you only ride one way? You always ride toe side and then heel side?
Yep.
You don't ever switch your feet?
I mean, I can on the kite. It's a lot easier than with the wing. But I'm not able to do it standing because when I try and maneuver around on the board, if I put my foot in a weird position, it puts too much pressure and then it's not in the right spot.
Yeah.
It's typically the balance.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Because I don't feel like if I'm moving my foot, if I don't feel where my foot is placed, I can put too much pressure either on my toe or on my heel. So then it's not in the center and then I'm falling.
Yeah. And then after you were kite foiling, before you were winging, you were prone foiling, right?
Yeah.
You were surf foiling. And do you do that often?
No, I haven't done it in a while. I pretty much hadn't liked the gear that I've been on for a while, but now I'm using the Lift 150, and I really like that. I need to go more. I've just been focusing more on surfing right now because I'm training for Costa Rica, and I just want to put as much time in.
And when is that?
It's in the middle of June. Planning on going, and last year I got second place. It's at a wave called Boca Barranca.
Nice.
I've surfed it a couple times before and really love it. It's a great venue they have there. It's one of the only venues that's at a point break. The wave's super long. I would love to go foil that wave. They have skis that bring us back out in the lineup, so you don't even have to paddle back out. It's so
that's
nice.
Sick. Do you feel like the foil surfing helps your surfing? Is there any you know, you can transfer those skills? So
Yes.
I guess this winter we haven't had a lot of small days where you feel like you can't surf and you'd have to foil. Would that be the case? That you would, if you don't feel like your wave is breaking, like right in front of your house, would you go foiling?
Yeah, well, days like that, I was training more on the paddleboard, just paddling training.
Okay.
You know, I'd paddle to the river mouth by my house. That was like at least a mile paddle one way. And then I'd catch this little small wave, just training on balancing, popping up and all that.
Just a sub surfboard.
Yeah, just a sub surf, just not even a surfboard, just a sub. You know, just paddle over there and just get for the paddle training. 2 years ago, we were foiling all the time.
Yeah.
On the smaller days, but like I said, I have had a lot of things going on, and I've been just trying. It's a lot easier just for me to go right in my backyard and surf right there.
You've got a beautiful daughter, right? How old is she?
She's 13 months.
13.
Yeah.
And you have a fiance?
Yeah.
Not married yet?
Not yet. We're planning soon. So.
All right. Congratulations.
Got a lot of things going on. We're going to Switzerland to go to my cousin's wedding soon in August. So hopefully I can go surf the wave pool over there. That's what I'm planning on, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, there's got to be water time, right?
At least 1 hour for the whole trip.
And how's your Spanish? Because I know
it really sucks.
Yeah, just still gringoing it out.
Yeah, I'm really really trying to listen. Yeah. I'm trying to listen as much as I can, understanding. I can't blame my concussions that I've had in my life. Can't blame a lot of things.
You could try.
It's really me not practicing enough.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think what's going to happen when my daughter starts learning to talk in English and in Spanish, that's when I'm going to be practicing and trying a lot more.
Yeah, for sure. I guess
because I need to learn the baby steps.
Yeah. I think that's definitely much easier is to talk to someone that's at your level. You know, it's got your level of Spanish.
Yeah.
And I assume she spends a lot of time with mom, right? Speaking Spanish full time.
Yeah.
Right.
And English too.
Yeah.
We're both.
I mean, Kai's the same. She's speaking Hungarian with mom, English with me, and when we're together, and then at school it's Spanish. So she's 4 now, and she's coming up with sentences. She's talking a lot more. It's taking her some time, but she can translate things into different languages. It's wild.
It's crazy how fast she's grown.
Yeah, big girl.
Yeah,
smart. She's gonna be way smarter than me at like the age of 5. She already knows like the days of the week, and she's telling me in Spanish. I was like, damn, I don't even know what comes after jueves. It's a wild adventure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
a great one.
Yeah, such a blessing to have a kid, and
we have hers in swim class twice a week now.
Oh, that's cool.
She loves it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw them in the water.
Yeah,
be in the water. Kai loves the water. She's a decent swimmer. We've gone through swim classes, and it's always been a disaster. So we just try to get in the pool with her in the ocean as much as possible, and she's digging it. Definitely gonna get her on the water sports, and I got a baby boy on the way, so that'll be, I got the parejita, the couple, one and the other, and so excited for that. And what gear did you learn how to foil on? Because I remember you had something like the shark foil, or what was that that you were riding? Do you remember that foil that you had? Wasn't it a Tuttle box?
Takuma.
No, that was not it. When you were kite foiling.
Oh yeah, that's a J shape.
Oh, J shape.
Yeah.
But it was called the shark.
I don't know what it was called.
I'm gonna have to look back at pictures because
I still have it.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't want to sell them. I have three wings. They're pretty sweet. I was able to get going super fast on that thing. The thing would whistle. I did a downwinder one time from Ocean Park to Dorado. I raced my girlfriend in the car, and
I remember that. Yeah. You set up in Ocean Park.
Almost tied.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 55 minutes.
If you time it at a good, 4:30, 5 o'clock, she'd hit traffic.
Well, that's what it was. She hit a little bit of traffic, so it didn't work out so good.
Definitely beat her. And you've got this epic picture of you on that foil, kite foiling. There was this guy named Ben or something who was in town, and I think you did a commercial for a watch.
Yeah, something
like that. I can't remember what it was, but you were on the jet ski. He was using our jet ski, and you guys were doing a photo shoot or video. And I think that's going to be our thumbnail photo of you, because that's an epic photo.
Yeah.
It's a super cool photo of you, like just you're carving with the foil, and
I
you're all
believe
laid
he took
back.
that with a GoPro with some special housing.
Right? With like he had this globe or something around it.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And how was it to learn how to foil surfing? Did it take you a while to pop up? I mean, you're comfortable in the water. You're a good surfer. I've mentioned it a bunch of times that I learned how to surf on a foil, right? So it took me a while, and you're a good surfer. You were a decent surfer by then. I don't know if you're good, or for sure you've got to be way better now.
Yeah,
you're putting the time in.
It was more about just finding the foot placement, and that seems to be the problem all the time. That's why when I go toe foiling, I like putting my feet in straps. So I know I'm locked in and they're not moving around much. Sometimes I will wing with only my front foot in the strap, which allows my back foot to move around and help pump in the down times that I need to. But the surfing part was getting used to the smaller boards, and then just trying not to engage the foil right away is when I'm trying to get up.
Yeah.
And then once I'm pretty much on my feet, that's when I feel like I'm locked, like I'm almost locked in on the wakeboard.
Yeah.
And then reading the swell and being in the right position and getting that right power and that glide that you need, and
it's
go from there.
So different than surfing.
Yeah.
Right. You can outrun it so quickly. You can ride flats. You can, accelerate in places that you didn't know.
Yeah.
And
we used to call it the gym, because you pump back out, you get winded, and you feel like you're running a mile.
Yeah. Where's all that crew now?
I don't know.
I mean, it was
we
just
all separated. We're all doing different things now.
But I guess it was just you, Andy, Arland, Randy, Roy, right? So everyone is still foiling quite a bit. I go out there a lot, and I remember at the beginning when I was just starting, everybody was out there all the time. It was all of us.
Well, that was during COVID too, so we all needed to be out exercising much as we could.
I guess it was just after, right? And I go out there all the time, and I rarely see Andy out there.
No, he doesn't like getting out much anymore. He's always busy. He's doing a lot of step-offs. And
he's busy boy.
Yeah.
He's always busy. Yeah. Master coach.
He doesn't play too much.
No, not anymore?
Not really. He wishes he does. I spoil him all the time and let him know how good it is.
He could find the time. Maybe he just needs a little push, come on, from his friends.
Yeah. That's why trying to get them out on the ski more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. The winging thing, because we had that wing, it started to become popular.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to figure out how to teach it. What would be the easiest way to get somebody into it? You're actually still the photo on our website for the beginner wing lesson, you carrying the sup board into the water with the wing. We had that, you know, we still use that keel to teach the beginners. There's no reason to put a foil on it.
From my experience teaching people, it's the best way to teach them is pat on a big board.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about their balance. All they got to do is a little bit of balance correction, but mainly learning the wind and how the wing deal with the power from the wing.
Yeah. And I was always talking you into it to get into wing foiling. You're like, it's just too much gear. It's too much stuff. I don't think I'm going to like it. Let's be honest. At the very beginning, I was the same. When someone said, hey, it was Niels. He's like, hey, this is going to be a big thing. It was him and Kiko Del Mau. He's like, this is going to be a big thing. So you better start learning now because it's going to take off. I was looking at them and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a thing. I think everyone had that first look at it and being like, what's the point? And for me, I guess it was even harder to see it because I wasn't surfing. I wasn't foil surfing. For someone that was foil surfing and they saw someone surfing the waves with a wind-propelled jet ski, I mean, it's got to look enticing, right?
Yeah. That's what got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just like pull yourself into a wave, ride it. Don't have to pump out and just ride the waves. So it took you a bit, you know, because you've got so many different activities you want to do, and then you got to buy all the equipment. You weren't living very close to us, you know. You're in Dorado, so it's with traffic. It took you 45 minutes to get here, and so
that's the thing with winging. You have to find the right location and get in and out of the water too. It's not easy with all that gear with the foil. I've got a pretty nice gash on my leg from getting out of the water with the foil.
But it's easier than a kite.
Yes and no.
Yeah, well,
depending.
Yeah, there's more objects around you for sure. Yeah. I would say that most people get into winging is because they feel like it's more accessible, right? You don't need clean wind. You could be in a gusty spot. You could jump off a cliff with it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, for sure there are technicalities, and you know, shallow reef like where you guys are in Dorado. There's reef all over the place. Yeah. Right. It's not very foil friendly.
No. That's what I was getting at. But the nice thing about it is the summertime we can ride these waves for at least a minute at a time. Yeah. Where there's no waves really anywhere else. You can just get the little wind chop and you're going. Yeah. Gliding forever. And that time that we get in the summer playing on that helps a lot for the winter time when we want to get back on the surfboard. You know, it's all that micro fine tuning balance that helps a lot, especially being an amputee. You know, before I was training on a slack line and Indo board all the time, and that helps tremendously because, you know, think about it. Having one leg, you have to get in and out of the shower, and not wearing my leg in the shower. So I've had a lot of incidences getting in and out of the shower. They were not too good. Yeah. I remember hitting my head on the side of the toilet one time. That was not good.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of complications that it's hard to express. I mean, I wouldn't even understand. I wouldn't even know. And it's hard. Again, just like that time, I'm just like, move your foot, bro. Yeah. You know, it's hard to think about it or to know it because when you look at you and you look at you surfing and all the sports you do, it doesn't feel like you're adapting.
Yeah, you have to learn how to adapt to yourself because the other day I had broke my foot and I had to put a new foot on, and I didn't realize that there was a difference in height, so it made my hips off balance, and I had hip pain and back pain for like 4 or 5 days, and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I'm way off balance. So I had to change out my little spacer and help the height of my leg, and made a huge difference. Like within 1 day I didn't have any back pain. And that's because, you know, I don't have a prosthetist here in Puerto Rico to go see, so I have to go back to Florida. So I have to be aware and learn how to adapt myself and make sure that I have enough tread on the bottom of my foot, because that's important too. I lost my thumb 5 years after my leg injury because not having enough tread on the end of my prosthetic. I slipped and dropped the board on and popped my thumb literally right off.
Wakeboard, right?
Yeah, just wakeboard. and I was walking up the stairs and I slipped and the board landed right on my thumb, right on the joint, and popped it right off. But like I said, it's just being aware of being an amputee of what you have prosthetic-wise is important to keep you moving forward and keep going, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, for sure. Do you still kite foil or?
I haven't in a while. I want to.
Because I saw some videos. You don't kite that often either, or?
Only when it's blowing super hard. I kited the river mouth a couple months ago.
That super flat spot.
Yeah.
That was a windy week.
That was probably one of my highest jumps ever.
Oh, really?
To be honest with you. I wish I had the woo on my board. I had to have been over 50 feet.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nice. You were riding an 11 or you were on that 9?
9.
9?
Yeah. Lit.
Yeah.
Like overpowered on 9.
That's fun.
Cool. Yeah, I like it when it's like that.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I don't go out kiting unless I feel like it's going to be really windy and worth it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I'd prefer to be foiling or out at the reef. And I do still get some light wind sessions here and there, but I typically get my fill from going winging and foiling. And
yeah, I'm getting that too.
Yeah, that's kind of what fulfills me. And then when it's really windy, I get like a little bit antsy of like, oh, I need to fly. I need to get up there and boost a couple airs. And I don't do freestyle on the wing. Mm-hmm. Arlen gets that feel from winging. He likes the freestyle and jumping. And for me, foiling was always just about flow and like being on the water and turns. And I mean, I can do some jumps here and there, but it doesn't, because I can jump so well on a kite and I do that so well. Yeah. I don't really feel like it. I'm sure it's going to come that I'm going to want to do some jumps or some backflips or something. Right now, I don't really feel like I want to do that. So I still want to get that feel from the kite.
It's kind of dangerous. It's almost like a samurai sword flapping around.
Yeah, I mean, man, these guys that are like Alex in Cabarete, I think it's Alex Soto.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Dude, just flying with the kite foil and doing kite loops and board offs and like inverted front rolls. I don't know. I do inverted front rolls with a twin tip, and I always hit my lines. Every single time I do a front roll, it's like tonk, the tip of my board hits my back lines and my kite. Like, how do you not put your foil through your lines doing those crazy inverted tricks on a foil? It is insane.
Foiling, I love it. It's great training. It's good for your balance. It's an amazing sport.
Yeah. What do you get out of it?
I feel like I'm riding on a hovercraft almost.
Yeah. Well, it's
a lot
definitely a hovercraft.
Fine tuning. Like when we go towing in on these big, huge days, like surfing is cool when you're dropping in on a big, huge day, and you're pulling in a barrel too or whatever, hitting the lip. But foiling, it seems like a lot more precision. You're almost like you're flying and trying to glide on the wave, like you're an airplane pilot in a way.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have more surfers on here because it can't only be about foiling and water sports and kiters and whatever. But what I want to do, and I think Walt had a really good idea, is find a surfer that's really good and train them for like a month how to foil.
Yeah.
And then sit down and have an episode about it, like what they learned and did it help their surfing, or what do they enjoy more? I think if you're a hardcore surfer, the thing is that I didn't grow up in a surf culture, right? I've never paddled out to a lineup. I've never had to wait my turn. So it's not that I don't have surf etiquette. It's just that I've never had to go through that.
Yeah.
And kiteboarding is very different. You share. Like you got to help each other. You help people on the water. You pick up their board. You help them launch and land. And sometimes I get this from surfers to surfers being like, oh, this person, or oh, that person dropped into my wave. And I get it. It's very limited, right? One wave is rolling from 10,000 miles away. And
you got 40 guys in front of you.
You got 40 guys waiting for it. But in foiling, I never had to go through that, right? You can go off on the shoulder. You can catch some foam. I was a beginner, and where I learned, it was you guys.
Yep.
And everybody was very inviting. Everyone was very friendly. There was no fighting over anything. The only time I get a little bit of a surfer attitude is from Arlen. Like you cut him off or something, and he's got this like, I was like, bro, we're friends. Like, who cares? I took off on your wave with you. I yelled party wave. You didn't hear me say party wave?
Let's party.
What do you, I know that you're training to do this surfing competitions and you're definitely going to do it and you're doing it. If that wasn't, say that wasn't an option, like you weren't going to go into competitions for the Paralympics and that, what do you prefer? Do you prefer surfing on a surfboard? Do you prefer foiling? I know that they're different. You don't have to pick.
It just really depends on the conditions, I guess.
There you go. You said it.
And where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I'm out on the ski and have somebody that's a good driver and want to go tow on a big day, would love to do that.
Yeah.
Same thing, go paddle in on a huge day, wilderness or Tres Palmas, whatever, you know.
We've got some epic swells around here.
Yeah.
Some epic waves and spots. And
we're super lucky.
And some crazy good surfers around. I've never been to Wildo when it's blowing up 15, 20 foot or whatever. I've never been in that scene. Walt tells me about it. And it just rolls up there and just sits in the mist and just watches these guys like bomb down this. And it looks intense, you know?
Yeah, I've actually been there and done that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've had some of my gnarliest wipeouts there. And
really? At Wildo?
Yeah.
And you ever had any scares in the surf?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them. Broke my board at Tres Palmas. The other day I had 2 really bad airdrops that I did, and one of them ripped my jersey completely off my body.
Damn.
And then afterwards I had water coming out of my nose, you know. But I think from all the water time that I've had, spearfishing, learning to be comfortable in bad situations helps me surfing, because I know when I first started, I was not really that comfortable, and I would kind of panic at times and try and swim up in really bad situations and almost be out of breath. And I know a couple weeks ago I had a 2-wave, almost a 3-wave hold down, and I was pretty calm and didn't really feel out of breath. And then like 2 days ago, again, I had almost another 2-wave hold down, and I'm just learning to be calm and relax in the worst situation. And
not panic.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah. Do you wear any flotation?
And at a certain size, yes.
Yeah.
And when we're tow foiling, when it gets big, yes.
Yeah. I mean, when I tow foil, even when it's small or whatever, because we have to wear the vest on the ski. We've got these really nice jet ski vests from Mystic.
Yeah.
I just wear it the whole time. It doesn't compromise my surfing. When I get in the wave, it feels better. If the foil hits me or the mast in my chest, I don't feel like it compromises my surfing at all. It's more of like a style thing.
They're definitely more comfortable these days. They make them more, streamlined. They're not as bulky, and I definitely wear them a lot more than I used to. Do
you wear a helmet when you foil surf?
No.
No?
I probably should.
Yeah. You know what? I started to, just because we've got these epic new helmets. They've got this dial in the back, and it tightens around your whole head from Mystic. They're not the most lightweight. I wish they were a little bit lighter when they got wet. And I prone surf with it too, duck diving and everything. And I realized that holding my head up, I got like, my neck started to hurt a little bit. I was like, what is that? And I realized that it's my helmet weighing on my head and me like arching and paddling. It started to hurt my neck and my back a little bit from the weight of the helmet. And I still wear it proning. It's been very recent for me, and I kind of like it. I don't feel like it's an issue. I mean, I feel more comfortable. I've hit my head with the mast a couple times where you wipe out in a wave and it just like, I cover my face always.
Yeah.
And man, I've had it like 4 times where the mast hits me right in the middle of like my funny bone. And I've had bruises there, and your whole arm is numb, and you're like, ugh. I'm like, well, thank God it was my elbow, right? Not my face, or the back of my head. I've had some bumps, just like the mast hitting it, nothing sharp. Yeah. But I think, my wife would be, she's very happy that I'm wearing a helmet while I'm foiling, because it could be anything. I mean, I should be wearing a helmet walking down the street, let's be honest.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
I've had issues though wearing helmets before wakeboarding, where I've fallen so hard at the wake when I hit the water with my head.
Oh, whiplash.
Yeah, it gives you whiplash and neck strains. So, I mean, I guess I should probably be considering it more, especially in bigger
for sure. There's there could be a bit of compromise there with like like I've had it where I know when a set's coming, I have to put my head down like this. I can't be like, you know, this way. It'll like they'll pull my helmet back with the strap. I put my hand on my helmet because I know that it's an effect. But if you're winging at high speeds, I've had winging at high speeds and like impact the water with the helmet, and you're like, whoop, it just rips your neck around. I was like, ugh. But I mean, what's worse?
Knock on wood, I've gotten pretty good at falling, I guess. Trying to kick the foil away.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at falling. Yeah, fall a lot.
Yeah. But you got to keep getting up and keep going. You know, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Roy said he likes, because you guys share a ski. I saw that you guys were selling it.
Yeah, well, I'm buying the other half. I can't let it go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to buy the other half.
Because you guys...
I have an addiction, you know.
Yeah.
I love going on the ski and love going out there. We put a lot of time in and can't let that go, you know. It'd be too much to buy another one and restart and get all the setup and redo everything.
All the straps and the sled and you know your ski, you know when something goes wrong or not. Like there's little, tidbits of your ski that you get used to of like no ski is perfect, right? It's like when you get in your car, you know that the brakes are sensitive or you know that gear will stick. Like everything's got its thing, and
you just got to keep it moving. That's the most important thing.
Keep those things running. I've had some ski issues for sure. At one point I had like 3 or 4 skis. When we were really busy, and what a headache. And at that point I was kind of done towing. I didn't really enjoy it. It was just me maintaining the skis, and you got to just keep them running. And for us it's different. If it was my personal ski, I could take care of it, but I got a bunch of, a bunch of coaches taking it out. We use it for fun or use it for kite lessons or towing, and we don't do a lot of step-offs, but we do some towing here and there, and then use it for lessons and wing lessons. But yeah, at one point it was just a lot. I was stressed out about all the maintenance you got to do to ski, and it's hard to find people to do good work and get them there on time, because then if you don't get the ski ready in time, then you're losing money. And so at one point I was telling Walt this, that I kind of had this love-hate relationship with towing. I didn't want to go out there. When I was sitting on the ski, it just felt like work, and I was using this horse for the wrong reasons, that I should have been using it for, if something goes wrong, then I can't use it tomorrow. And I had this weird, kind of energy around the skis. And once I started to get rid of all of them and sell them all and be like, I just keep one ski, one boat, and then a nice dinghy or a center console for, something that's a little bit more reliable, that's not so like high output, because these things are like 1800 cc superchargers, and it's the Yamahas are good, they're easy to fix, easy to get parts here at least. But
the Sea-Doo's crazy. It's got 300 horsepower.
It's crazy. Yeah,
I can't believe they sell them to people. Like, if you have no water experience, how are you going to go buy a jet ski with 300 horsepower and pretty much put a chip in and go 90 miles an hour? Mine does 70 without the chip in it. It's crazy. It's insane.
That's wild.
It's nuts.
It's not safe.
No. But then again, they sell cars that go 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and there's more people on the streets, At least these people are only going to hurt themselves, hopefully.
And the water's kind of forgiving.
At a certain speed, it's... Yeah. And then you get knocked out, you drown. I mean, I would not want to be falling on concrete at 70. I'd prefer to fall in the water. That is guaranteed, But Roy was telling me that when you guys go towing, sometimes he's like, I don't know if I want to go towing with this guy. He's nuts. Like just full throttle, no fear, just putting yourself into some nasty situations.
Yeah, I love going and towing the big days, and I try not to put any of us in bad situations, but
I'm over exaggerating, for the story, but
try and always make it back. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, make it
laugh
back.
About the adventures, We're always hunting for the best in the Vegas,
Yeah, for sure.
And it would be better if we could go with this crew of guys, always have extra support out there and, extra stoke too.
It's not always available.
No, that's the other problem. It's not everybody's time doesn't always match up, and
people have skis here. Ronan's got ski, Hector's got a ski, and they're always hunting for partners. Yeah. And they're like, hey, you want to go tow tomorrow? Like, whose ski are we using? And there's a good in San Juan, we have a pretty good crew, and we tow at just a couple different breaks out here in San Juan, mainly caballos. But then when the surfers, we got to go out. When I go towing and I know it's going to be a good day, I go, as early as possible. Like can hardly see, making sure it's legal, that it's just bright enough to get on the water. When we get out in the break, it's, sun's just, peaking. We just got enough light to get out there, because at least I know that I could tow for 30 to 45 an hour before surfers start to show up. And then because once the surfers arrive at the break, it's it. You got to move. There's no way we're towing around them. And then we just move on to another break, which is equally as good, right? But I think we have this obsession with going to Caballos, and it's still uncrowded, and there's been times where there are 4 skis out there and foilers or step offs or something, and
that's crowded.
But we're all, we all know each other, and we all have a certain respect for what one another is doing. But we're all just frothing to get on that wave.
That's what it's all about.
But there's so many breaks. There's so many breaks out here, and we hardly tap into it because it's just so easy for us to go to this break. If that's occupied by surfers, the one next door to the channel it's not. There's never any surfers there, and it's actually,
I like that
sometimes it's almost better.
Yeah.
It's a better wave.
It's a longer ride.
It's a longer ride, and you're not just holding onto your pants.
Yeah, and you can go right and left.
Yeah, it breaks both ways, which is kind of epic. But there's so many different spots around here, and if you can put your ski in at the very limited ramps that are available here, which is kind of silly. And you make sure you got a full tank of gas, because you got to drive around to find the right break. And
we've actually drove from Catano to Caballos before.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That was really far.
I've done that before. Yeah, and that's exhausting. Once you're done, and you got to drive back. Then you got to drive back, and you're lucky it's the other way. We did it the other way. We went from Caballos all the way down to
to El Morro.
To El Morro. Yeah. And we towed there for a little bit, and then towed in front of La Perla, and then we made our way back. And by then, the wind had picked up, so the wind's in your face, like going it's miserable. Like wish you had ski goggles and going into the wind there. But yeah, it's kind of epic that we've got all these different conditions available, and you do all of the sports. And I said it before, is that you just got to pick and choose condition-wise, right? And I mean, you're training for something that's, it's pretty epic, what you're doing and what you're striving for and what you've achieved with it. Again, it's, when I look at you, it's hard to think that you're adapting, that you're missing a leg, because it just doesn't seem like that when you're on the water. The way that you rip, better than 98% of everybody.
Just try my best.
Yeah, you just do your best, and there are no limitations, which is cool. And
sometimes there is, but just got to get over them,
Yeah, no, for sure. It's all mental. Yeah. And just pick and choose what day is best for what. And get out there and rip on whatever craft you can.
And be safe, and selecting the right conditions, because here in Puerto Rico, it's not friendly to most that think they can swim in the ocean when we have waves. We've had some tragedies lately, and hopefully we stop that here soon.
I mean, we're all trained, right? We're all trained to be lifeguards. We have the rescue tubes and stuff that we leave at Numero Uno. I've pulled, 4 people out of the water last year.
Jeez,
that's
crazy.
Would have been last call, and not everybody's so lucky, and it's hard to see, it's hard to see for the untrained eye when somebody's panicking in that kind of situation. So
and it happens quick too.
Yeah, it's very fast in the water. I know the guys in Rincon are doing that. Carson, they're putting up, rescue tubes and things like that at the beaches, and warnings and flags, and they're taking it upon themselves, and it's a job. Yeah, I think as
looking out for everybody in the water is, great thing.
I think as a community, we're all strong watermen. Hopefully the people that are listening to this are also in Puerto Rico. This is worldwide. But the community in Puerto Rico, we're all looking out for each other. The wingers, the surfers, the bodyboarders, the whatever, all of us, the kiters. Just keep an eye out on the water, and if you see somebody doing something they shouldn't, or they look like they're in trouble, and train yourself for it. It's not a bad idea to go through a CPR course, every 6 months, and keep practicing it, because I do it, and I do it all the time. And then
when you need it,
it's
natural.
You've got to it's got to be something that you do instinctively, and it's not. You can't do it once a year and think that it's just going to pop it back into your head. There's a lot, and you're panicking, and So I would just say, be
Yeah.
calm and look out for others, and everyone's going to help each other. And we're lucky that we're in such a tight, cool community of watermen here in Puerto Rico. And
definitely blessed.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming out and chit-chatting with me, and hopefully we'll get you on the show again and see how you're doing with your surf competitions and your travels, and just keep an eye on you. And
just keeping the stoke real and pushing myself, and hopefully get other people out there and enjoy the fun and keep it going. You
want to leave people with something special, or?
Well, like I said, thanks for having me on, and appreciate it. And everybody be safe out there in the water, but have as much fun as you can, and check out the foiling for all the surfers. I tell everybody in the lineup, man, you got to have the summertime, you got to have the wind sport, and that's one of them. So
it gets you a lot more water time, and that's what it's all about.
It's just about the training for the winners, for the big swells that we get.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks, Sean.
All right,
appreciate it.
You guys have a good one.